Hello everyone, we're live again.
We're back.
We're
here.
If you joined us for the first time, if you watched the aborted attempt at doing this, we went live.
No. Not at all.
Not at all. No. Okay. Anyway, we're here. We won't be doing a watch-along stream because they're shit.
Nicholas Carpatis. Fuck off, Tom.
Fuck off, Tom. Tom. Poor Tom.
Sean FIFA Bad says, calm down, the computer crashed.
This operation, I often feel, is like the proverbial swan. At times, you know,
yeah.
Kind of. Well, as I was saying, we're called Chris and I graceful, which is a little bit of a stretch in front of camera. But you've got your graceful moments.
Okay.
I've seen you dismount a bicycle before.
That's not graceful. You should have seen me get out there. I had a little jacuzzi before after me swim. Like, you should have seen me get out of that. Wow. That was not pretty. No. Thankfully, bubbles don't do that to me, Paul.
Yeah, anyway, we'll have Liverpool kicking off in about 12 minutes time, something like that. We're not going to be doing the watch-along stream, as mentioned, because we don't like them very much.
Yes.
So if you want to see what we're doing while watching the match, we will still be recording it. We'll be doing that in the story of the match video that goes out on the YouTube channel at the end. Anyway, as we well know, the team, quickly to run through it if you joined us, you don't know it. Mignolet, Klein, Matip, Lucas, Milner, Chan, Wijnaldum, Lallana, Coutinho, Firmino, Sadio Mane. Now, interestingly,
importantly, Paul, who is Leicester's side?
Would you like to know?
Yes, please.
I thought you had this sort of information.
I do.
Already.
But do you know this?
I've got no idea. No.
Okay.
Of course, I'll come to that in a second. Just on the Liverpool stuff, we actually asked you thoughts on who you would have liked to have. I've got the subs. Do you know the subs?
Of course. Karius, Moreno, Clarvin, Stewart, TAA, Origi and Woodburn.
Yeah, I asked people who they would like to have seen come in for the obviously missing Lovren and Henderson. And just out of interest, which ended up being the correct answer, as it turns out, 42% of the vote went to Lucas and Chan, which I thought was interesting. Clavan and Chan, 36%. Clavan, Lucas, 17%. But I got lots of interesting alternatives, like the likes of Kev Stewart and stuff. The bench interests me.
Breathe. We've got 12 minutes here. If you talk at this rate, we're completely out of content.
The bench interests me, Chris, because on first glance, that's not a strong substitute bench. And if we treat this much like we did in the West Ham game at Anfield, when you've got a bunch of kids making up the numbers with no intention of using them, then that is a weak bench. However, I feel anyway, and I don't know whether you agree, is that, look, if Woodburn, if we're prepared to use the likes of Woodburn and Alexander-Arnold or whatever, then I find it could be quite an exciting bench if you look at it that way.
It could be, because, look, you know, we've talked about this. We've got one game a week coming up from now until the end of the season. You would hope to see over the course of these 13 games that we get to develop these kids, because there's no cup competition for them playing, is there?
Yep.
So I want to see the likes of Woodburn. I want us to go 3-0 up and bring Woodburn on. Yeah. And that's sound. It's the naysayers. It's the people who go into the football match thinking, we're going to lose, we're going to need the subs bench. Go into it thinking that's our strongest 11. We should be going out and beating this team right now.
Well, it's not even that's the issue for me, because I don't think we'd have an issue with that at 3-0 up. It's if it's 1-1 or 0-0, and we need some, you know, rather than just keep chugging away with the same players, because it's like effectively saying Origi's the only worthwhile substitute for chasing a football match. If the kids are good enough to be on the bench, then I hope that they're a stage now where we're not fearful of throwing Ben Woodburn into a situation.
Because we've gone into this season knowing our squad. It's not that he's picked kids over international players here. This is our squad. Yeah. And you've got to use your full squad. Now, you can question his decision at the start of the season or the January transfer window. Fair play. But you can't question a substitute bench based on what we've got left.
Yeah. No, completely agree with that. You got some comments?
I will have.
You will have
in a minute.
Now. Yeah, you can interact with us, of course, using the comments box alongside. There's some new feature which we're kind of testing out where you can pin your comments to the top. I don't fully understand it myself, but if you want to do that, you can do.
Super Chat.
Super Chat. See,
we had our first Super Chat. I forget your name. I'm sorry.
2 seconds before you stop the live stream.
End stream.
Yeah. So if you want to use Super Chat, we will preference people who use that, because that's the point of it, I guess.
I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you.
No, we'll see. If anyone knows how it works, please do educate us. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. And again, let us know your thoughts on what you're feeling right now. Less than 10 minutes to go till the match.
I've got a question.
Nervous,
for
confidence,
you, Paul.
etc., etc.
What I think the midfield will be is Chan sitting, but what do you think Wijnaldum could do that role?
Wijnaldum could do that role. He won't be doing it on his own tonight, I don't think. I think that if you look at, this is the first time that midfield makes sense to me, more sense than any other variation on it, because that's Wijnaldum's best position for us. That's Lallana's best position for us. And though Emre Can's not been great this season, really, I think we can all agree that if we were to look back at what we would say Emre Can's best performances for Liverpool have been in the last 12 months, they've come anchored in the midfield. Now, not necessarily on his own, in a 4-2-3-1 a lot and what have you, but I still think that's more his position. Now, don't be surprised if Wijnaldum maybe has to come and shuttle a bit more for him, or maybe if needed be, drops back in a little bit deeper to help out. I mean, we could see it. It could be a 4-2-3-1 to some extent if we really wanted it to be. Wijnaldum could sit alongside him.
So we've got the sky is red. Emre, prove us wrong. That's the attitude I want to see going into the game as well. I've seen loads of people on Twitter and stuff just seem to be writing Emre Can off.
There's got to be one.
Yet,
well, no, but there's got to be one at all times. Isn't there? We said this. I think we said this on the podcast last week. There's always got to be a scapegoat, and it's the player that people talk about without talking about them. All they've got to do is say the name Emre Can, and the intonation, everyone goes, "Oh no!" It substitutes Emre Can's name in that intonation for Adam Lallana, for James Milner. People forget there was a point where people went overly enamored with him. Any number of Liverpool players over the years. Emre Can's still decent enough a player that I wouldn't be shocked to see him impress us between now and the end of the season.
Danny H glitches. Left side will be key because Mahrez doesn't track back.
Yeah, I'd like that. Let's hope that's the case. I was saying about. I think I said this in the build-up. Whatever everyone's been doing to exploit Leicester for the last season, or even just the last 6 games, let's do that. I
think it's because Claudio Ranieri refused to defend, didn't he? Now, what's the guy's name who's taken over? I've forgotten. He probably will. Because that's just the time, isn't it, to fucking come and do it? Like,
well, good, but here's the thing, Chris. Now, Leicester, they played counter-attacking football and did it very, very well last season. So I wouldn't say if Leicester sit deep and defend for their lives that we'll have an easy time of it. But I would still contend. People were talking about it being a good result against Sevilla in the week. Still got beat 2-1. And people say that's the model. That's what they'll use against Liverpool. They see the 2 goals, great. Let them use that model if that's the case. We should take confidence and should take heart from that kind of thing. I think we'll have spent the last 2 weeks, and you said this as well, working on these kind of things. I'd like to say I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all solution to beating teams that play ultra-defensive or whatever, but you can certainly work on making the things that you do well better and improving the things that you're not great at.
One of the things that Arsenal have been great at for years is moving the ball quickly, isn't it? And it's the amount of time spent on the ball. And their average for years now has been one of the best in the Premier League. They play some of the shortest passes and they have the least time on the ball. And I think if you get back to the Mane, Coutinho, Firmino playing as we've seen earlier on in the season, but being able to do that just a little bit faster than what we've seen in a tighter area, that will create space for these players, and hopefully we'll be able to score goals off the back of it. I think it's key. Now we've had 2 weeks. Leicester have had a game in the week already. The big thing is, and I said it on the proper build-up show, is that we have got to start fast. Because that will just, if we can get a goal early, all that low block shit is just put to bed. And that's the most important thing for me right now.
And I completely agree with that. Our absolute optimal, ideal situation is to just go out there, let them mix it. Because here's the thing, let's say they have to change their philosophy and they do say, right, that's it, lads, we're just going to go out there not to get beat. How many of them are bought that, you need to buy into these things, you need to see it working. And the more the team tries that, the longer the game goes, the more your confidence grows in those kind of situations. And particularly because we don't have those big names off the bench. Because if you've got, even Daniel Sturridge, not great for you've got Daniel Sturridge hanging there, or warming up on the touchline, all the players will be going, Daniel Sturridge has got the ability to win this game at any point for us. So, it's pretty obvious. We do need to just go out there, best foot forward and look to smash them, blow them away, get a couple of goals up. If not, though, fuck it. Again, we've had a couple of weeks off. We should be revitalised. We should have the superior fitness and the superior confidence, regardless. And quality. You know, ultimately, I know these are still the champions, and they've still got some really good players who are going to cause us problems, and will cause us problems, by the way, in this game. This will not be a game without problems. But you've got to bank us to get back to what we were doing. The better, it's our best football has still come this season. Yeah. Their best football is still last season.
Yeah. And look, I mean, you know, we snotted them earlier on in the season, first game at Anfield, didn't we? If we could do that again, I'd be a fucking happy boy, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, maybe one more comment before we wrap up.
Okay. Luke Matthews, and maybe it's not right for this. Do you care that United beat Southampton yesterday? I don't.
I care only in so much as I was really looking forward to some extra time, or Southampton nicking one, because I was edging my seat stuff watching that game. I'm not asked about all the total trophies thing, Man United winning something and blah 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 blah. The proof will come in the pudding at the end of the season. We'll see how that. If we have a disappointing end to the season, then I will cast jealous glances left, right and centre. But if not, then it gives a fuck about the Manx.
Do you think it's important that we win tonight and go third in the Premier League?
That's exactly what we've got to do now. For too long, we've been playing the last game. We've been the last team to play of all these teams, and we haven't taken opportunities when we've played earlier on. The fact that the Manx, both sets of the Manx have got to play each other as their game in hand, we need to go and put the points on the board and let them sweat. Let them have sweaty balls. Anyway, we're going to wrap up because we're going to go watch the match.
One more. Milesy 20. What's your snack game like tonight, Paul and Chris?
Right, so we've got some sort of burger bites, literally Spar burger bites. We've got chili Doritos, Haribo Super Mix and Tang Fastics.
And onion chive, whatever they're called.
Chive and sour cream and chive.
Yeah.
Pringles.
Yeah.
Oh, they've changed the recipe of them. They used to be much better.
They're not as nice as they are, a bit more sickly these days. But yeah, thanks very much for interacting with the show. We're going to be doing these type of things a lot more frequently in the weeks to come. Go and subscribe to redmentv.com. Come hell or high water, the final word is recording tomorrow. We'll be analysing this game in depth and detail. It will be an absolute belter. Come and join us over on there. Go on. Ah!
Second time.
Yeah, well, you know, we've got to keep plugging away. Maybe that'll be a metaphor for the whole night, but we got the result in the end, hopefully. Cheers. Bye.